Yo, history buffs and finance nerds. Buckle up because we're about to dive into the wild world of how wars mess with global markets. Let's rewind to 1939 when World War II kicked off. Picture this, bombs dropping, tanks rolling, and the stock market crashing harder than a bad Tinder date. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, think of it as the VIP section of the stock market, nosedived almost 25% in just 2 days. Talk about a fire sale. Investors, understandably freaking out, dumped stocks faster than you can say blitzkrieg. Why? Because war brings uncertainty, and uncertainty makes investors run for the hills. But here's the kicker. As the war raged on, something interesting happened. Markets stabilized. Why? Because even in the midst of global chaos, people still needed stuff. Companies adapted, governments intervened, and slowly but surely, the markets found their footing. War isn't just bad for your health, it's a real buzzkill for the global economy too. Let's break it down. First up, stocks. These babies are traded on something called an exchange, kind of like a giant high-stakes flea market. When war hits, investors get jumpy. Will this company survive? What about that industry? It's enough to make anyone hit the sell button. Next, we've got oil. This black gold is the lifeblood of the global economy, and wars tend to make it really, really expensive. Supply chains get disrupted, demand spikes, and suddenly filling up your car feels like a luxury. And let's not forget about currencies. Remember the good old US dollar? Yeah, well, during times of war, even the mighty dollar can get knocked around. Investors flock to safe haven currencies like the Swiss franc, leaving others out in the cold. Let's get inside the heads of investors for a second. See, markets are kind of like that friend who's always up and down, driven by two powerful emotions, fear and greed. During peacetime, greed's in the driver's seat. Investors are all about making that sweet, sweet cash. But when war breaks out, fear slams on the brakes. Suddenly it's all about protecting what you've got, even if it means taking a loss. Geopolitics also plays a huge role. Wars can shift the balance of power, creating winners and losers in the global marketplace. Remember when the US slapped sanctions on Russia after the invasion of Ukraine? Yeah, that sent shockwaves through the global economy, affecting everything from energy prices to the price of bread. Here's the thing about markets, they're surprisingly resilient. Even in the face of war and destruction, they find a way to adapt and, dare I say, thrive. Remember World War II? After the initial shock, certain sectors boomed. Companies involved in manufacturing, technology, and arms production saw their profits soar. The recent conflict in Ukraine is another example. While some industries took a hit, others, like defense and energy, are experiencing a surge. It's a stark reminder that even in the darkest of times, there's always opportunity. So what have we learned? Wars are messy, unpredictable, and they definitely shake up the global markets, but they also highlight the incredible adaptability of human beings and the markets we create. What do you think? Hit me up on Twitter with your thoughts on how wars impact the global economy. Let's get this conversation started.